After Hours.
On this episode of the History of the Corps After Hours podcast, we discuss the band from the Great White North known as Cancer Bats. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at IsSurvivedByPro for news and latest episode postings. And make sure to subscribe to the show, leave us a 5-star review, and write us a comment on YouTube or whatever podcast service you're using. Make sure to check us out on TikTok and give us a follow at IsSurvivedByProductions. And if you'd like to see us do some live streams, leave us a comment or tweet us the keyword stream. Now, without further ado, let's start the show.
The devil is in Atlanta, army surrounded.
Welcome back to the History of the Corps After Hours podcast, where each and every episode, I, Curtis, sit down with my good friend, an avid listener to the pop-up of this very podcast right here, the History of the Corps podcast, Erik. What up, Erik?
Howdy doody.
Pop-up, is that you? Did you return? Did you get some cigarettes too while you were at the store?
Well, it's only been 20 years, kid.
Right. Oh, boy. Man.
That got dark for a minute.
I got really dark. So we apologize to all those whose dads told them, "Hey, I'm just going to the gas station down here to get some cigarettes. I'll be back." Never came back. We apologize.
Our deepest apologies.
We're here for you. This podcast is here for you to drown your sorrows in heavy music. So, yeah. Before we start talking about that heavy music, Erik, got a little scenario for you. I want to see what kind of answer you come up with here. So here's your scenario: a big old movie studio has decided they are going to put the money up and back a Life of Josh movie. If you're not familiar, Josh is my co-host on the Pop podcast, the father of this very podcast right here, the History of the Corps podcast. They are making a movie about his life. It's entitled The Life of Josh. Erik, my question to you is, who plays Josh? No, let's hear. Who plays the Josh narrator at an old age, and then who plays Josh at a young age?
So I enjoyed this question.
Okay.
Got me thinking about, long times past.
It's a good, yeah.
So I went with young Josh. We'll start with young Josh.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
I don't know if you say it Sheen or Sean, but Sheen Flynn.
Who?
And his character was Chase from Zoe 101.
Oh my gosh. No, the fro, the hair. Oh no, bro. Dude.
Because when Josh was young, he always had that kind of fluffy thing going on too.
Yes, he did. Oh my gosh.
I thought you'd enjoy that.
I'm looking at photos now. Oh my gosh. That is perfect. Oh, dude. Yeah, that's... And then especially like with some... Because like every once in a while he'd wear... This dude on Zoe 101, he'd wear like the necklace, or he'd have some like arm, wristbands. That was Josh. He had some of that too. We have photograph proof. I have seen it. I see it every day. So you got Sean Flynn. Wow, he's Australian.
Really?
I didn't know. Australian American
I didn't know
actor. Did not know that. The actor who played Chase Matthews on Nickelodeon's Zoe 101. Nice. Okay. So who is the narrator at an old age playing Josh?
So this one I just went with somebody who's what I felt like is a good narrator that just could absolutely say some stuff. And I went with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh my gosh.
The way Dude, I can imagine that man reading a script.
Great combo. That is perfect, bro. That is perfect. I love that. Go ahead.
So I could just the way he delivers lines, the way he
Yes.
could read that script, and just thinking about a couple moments in life and going, Ryan Reynolds' voice here,
Right.
and that is the moment he realized he had messed up.
Oh my gosh. That's
So-
awesome, man. That is terrific. So we got Ryan Reynolds playing Josh at an old age, narrating his younger self's life. And the younger version of Josh is played by Sean Flynn. Sean Flynn, who played Chase Matthews on Zoe 101. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. Who plays me?
Well, you didn't give me that question.
I know. Now I'm curious though. Think about that one for the episode. Maybe we'll circle back around later on. Okay, that was fun. Yeah, I thought I was like, man, what's a question I can throw off the top of the episode that's not related to the band we're going to talk about? And I think me and Josh talked about this on one episode before. I don't think it was the Cancer Bats episode. I could be wrong. And I can't even tell you well, I know he said Timothy Chalamet Timothy, for his younger self, but I can't remember who he said for his older self. But yeah, we had talked about that before, and I thought, let's see what Erik says about this one. So yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, think about who may play me. So I'm curious, man. Who's the annoying younger brother that messes with Sean Flynn? But yeah, so here we go. Let's get off of that topic for a little bit. Like I said, we'll circle back around at the end of the episode, see if we came up with anything. But today, Erik, we're taking a trip up north to the Great White North. That is across the border, to talk about the band Cancer Bats. Talking a little Hoser core for all you core fans out there. So my first question to you, Erik, as always, my generic question. Did you come up with one?
I did. You're
Okay,
gonna hate it.
no, go ahead. Let's hear it.
So, you had back in the day, you had the glasses, you kind of had your longer hair.
Oh, geez, yeah. Oh, no.
You know exactly where that's going.
No, not yet. I mean, I'm just a little worried.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh, no, no. I don't want to be Harry Potter. Okay, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that one. I had that one coming. No, that's a good one, actually. So you got Ryan Reynolds as older Josh, narrator. Or I guess just narrating Josh's life, I guess you could say, really. And then Sean Flynn, who played Chase Matthews on Zoe 101, to be the younger version of Josh. And his younger brother, me, played by Daniel Radcliffe.
What a cast.
What a cast. What a cast. Now start thinking of the parents. No.
Oh, here we go.
No, don't do that. Let's end it right there. Let's talk about Cancer Bats, Erik. First and foremost, I'd like to formally welcome you on behalf of myself and Josh and our production company, Survive by Productions. Welcome to the Canadian Invasion.
What a wonderful place to be.
I hope you're going to enjoy your time here. It's not going to be as long as what me and Josh went through, just because we had, several parts on. I mean, we had 3 parts on Cancer Bats to start with. We had, I think, maybe just 2 on Silverstein. There was 2 on Alexis on Fire, and there was, I think, just 2 on Comeback Kid. And so it just felt like an eternity and felt like we're never going to get out of Canada, are we? So anyway, formally like to welcome you to the Canadian Invasion as we begin our journey here through the Great White North. But tell me, Erik, in my usual generic question to start out an episode, how were you introduced to the band Cancer Bats? I think I know the answer.
Pretty sure, once again, I'm thinking, just maybe, you introduced me to them.
2 for 2. Yes. I was thinking so. That's one of those bands. I mean, it wasn't one of those bands you really ever heard of, right?
Oh, no.
So, yeah. I was thinking it was probably me.
Well, I can remember, I don't know if it was you or Josh, because I remember you and Josh talking about them, for sure. So,
Right.
like I said, whichever one of you originally told me, who knows? Lost to the annals of history.
I would think it was probably me because the first time that me and Josh, ever discovered them was together at the Silverstein concert in 2007, September. Let's see, that would be so many years ago. This very September right here. I'm not good at math right off the top of my head, and just not right on the spot. So that's what a calculator's for. So
what was that, like 15 years?
Pull up the numbers here and divvy it up to 2023 minus 2007. 16-year anniversary. The 16-year anniversary of me and Josh going to my very first show together at the Canes Ballroom to see Silverstein, Comeback Kid, and to witness a brand new band to our little music library known as Cancer Bats. So yeah, I was thinking though that it would probably be me because he wasn't really. I don't think he was around at that. I think he was already out of our group at that point. Josh, that is, because that would have been my freshman year. No, eighth grade or freshman year. Yeah. Man,
we're old.
Yeah. I think it was me. I think you're right. I think it was me. So, anyway, moving on. Same old scenario, just a different episode here, Eric. Brand new listener comes up to you. He says, "Hey, man, you ever heard of this band Cancer Bats? You have? Well, I'd like to listen to them, but I'm not really sure what I'm about to get into. Eric, can you describe for me what I'm about to start listening to here in the band Cancer Bats?"
They're hoser core.
They're a hoser core. You hoser?
So, I mean, as a whole, I'd probably go with... I mean, they definitely... It's not like they have, such a weird sound you can't really throw them in a hole.
Right.
But I'd probably just go with, they're metalcore for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
They do have some pretty strong riffs. And, I'm thinking about, Hail Destroyer and stuff like that. Dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun.
Hail Destroyer.
That opening riff to that song is just
that's a good one.
Such a heavy, chug-a-lugging riff. Just draws you right in. Yeah, it's like, here's the metal train, jump on.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'd just say they're mostly metalcore. They got
some southern stuff kind of sprinkled in there.
They do,
once in a while,
even though they're far north of the border.
Yes.
They are.
Well, it's kind of like what I told
southern.
Josh. Was like, maybe they're Southern Canadian. So yeah, but Southern Canadian metal. How about that?
Southern Canada.
Southern Canada.
But yeah, they do have they have some southern subtleties to them.
If I were you, I would start out by saying, well, they are hosercore. That way you can be like, hosercore? What the heck is that? Hosercore? You never heard of hosercore? I think that's a good way to start it. No, I think that's a good way of describing it too. They're not really so obscure like a Touche Amore, like we talked about in the last episode, or even like a Chariot. Right. How many times have we referenced... I was thinking about this in the last episode. How many times have we referenced the Chariot in so many different episodes that wasn't the Chariot episode? I'd like to know a count on that, because we've brought their name up several times. It's kind of a good little marker to be like, okay, let's compare it to what this is right here, So that's kind of funny. But yeah, I think that's a good description of them. So, speaking of description... We both like the band Once Nothing, right?
Would you say? I would say so.
Yeah. Once Nothing, the band from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Steel City, was a self-described... I shouldn't really say was, because they're still technically around, in a way. So, is a self-described blue-collar metal band. Now, my question to you, Eric... When you listen to Cancer Bats, do you get a blue collar vibe from them? Because me and Josh both did.
Definitely Birthing the Giant, early stuff, yes. for me, as far as, I don't know about Blue Collar, but the way y'all talked about them, especially, I always felt like they had the local band thing.
Yes. Yes.
Even though they're like, technically international, but they definitely have that kind of local band, more, subtleties to them rather than, I don't know, just feeling like a big, really overproduced, finely polished band. These guys feel like, hey, let's go have band practice out in the street tomorrow. Okay, cool. A little bit more raw side of things.
I'll bring the sandwiches. Yeah, and that's funny you say that because there was a question that I had put in my notes, my preliminary notes, and I got rid of it because I thought, it's not really, I didn't feel like it was worthy of making the cut. But I'm bringing it back. In a way, I'm not going to ask a question, but when I listened to Cancer Bats, I always kind of got, I got that vibe, like you're saying, of a kind of a local, homegrown, type of band. And I always I look at Cancer Bats and I'm like, I don't see them as a headlining band. I just don't really see them going, hey, we're going out on tour, we're the headliners, and these bands are coming with us. I always kind of felt like that they had that vibe that it's like they are the what would you call them?
Just openers.
Yeah, I guess openers. Yeah, I feel like there was another word, but that may be the word I'm looking for. And I don't know too if that goes along with the fact that the first time that I ever saw them was because they were
openers.
They were the number one opener. Get there early, type of thing. And so I don't know if that kind of goes along with it, but they, even just listening to their latest discography, I always just kind of felt like, they just seemed like an opening band. Maybe not just always the first band to come up there, but they just didn't feel like they were the last band to leave the stage. I just always kind of get that vibe from them, which is cool. It's not a knock on them, in my opinion. That's just kind of their thing. They have that vibe, and it's a really nice, cool, blue collar DIY vibe to me. So, well, Eric, you went 1 for 2 in our last episode in the trivia section. I really had high hopes because I really thought you were going to be able to get that second one, to be honest.
I was on the cusp.
He was on the cusp of it, but unfortunately he ran out of time and he had to throw out a guess, and it was way off. But that's 100%. Okay, man. That's all right. Today is a brand new day. It's a brand new episode. 2 brand new questions for you. So here we go with question number 1, Eric. What song is Liam, the vocalist for Cancer Bats, whistling / singing at the beginning of the music video for French Immersion? Have you seen the music video for French Immersion?
I don't know if I did or not.
It's off of, that's actually the first song I think of when I think of Cancer Bats, because that's the first one that pops in my head from that show. That was the one that really stuck with me. It's off of their debut album, Birthing the Giants. Yeah, if you'd like to take a second to watch it real quick, that's fine. We can do that real quick here. Okay, so you've heard it. I'll give you a hint. This is a band. Well, it's one person. Okay, it's a solo artist. We've talked about him before. Yeah, it is a Canadian.
I was down in the comments, and I think I seen it.
Oh, what have you done?
I cheated a little, I think, by accident.
He cheated. Go ahead, though.
Dallas Green.
Yes.
Something about scissors.
Man,
what was the whole song?
That comment did not help him at all. Because I'm gonna need the title of Dallas Green's solo project. Now, don't look at the comment. I need the title of his solo project and the title of the song.
Save Your Scissors is the song.
Okay.
His solo project is City and Color.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a half point there.
I do know his project. So though. I got that.
He's 0.5 for 1. So thanks a lot, comments section on YouTube.
They're known for spoiling stuff. I don't know why I thought anything different.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, that's a good song. It's off of his debut album. I believe it was his debut album, wasn't it? I believe it was. Yeah, off of Sometime. Save Your Scissors. Yep. It's a good one. It's a good one. Okay, so speaking of music videos, and you have made mention before, listening to Spotify. You know, you listen to something, once you get through an album or whatever, it goes, hey, you want to listen to such and such? Well, in Josh's case, no matter what he listens to, apparently, every time Spotify suggests that he listens to Cancer Bat's Pneumonia Hawk, which is I don't think it's the final song. I think it's the second to final song. Excuse me, I got the burps. The second to final song off of Birthing the Giant. Have you seen the music video for Pneumonia Hawk?
I have.
Okay.
100% on this one.
Give me your thoughts, because this is crazy, man. And I put kind of in parentheses, full-blown Canadian lumberjack, because I feel that's a great way to describe the music video.
It really is.
This is like one of the funniest music videos I've ever seen. Well, not even funny, but just like the greatest, man. There's so many like little things in it that's just like, that's just terrific.
Like halfway through like the little intro portion of it, I remembered these guys are all Canadian. Oh, that's right.
That's why they're acting weird.
That explains everything. But there's a dude literally, I mean, they're eating pancakes together, about ready to go chop down some trees, wearing all plaid and everything, of course. Dude's literally drinking maple syrup.
Yep.
So
went full blown, man.
I feel like they're embracing every Canadian stereotype I have.
Yep.
Just in one video.
Yep.
But I was really thinking they were going to go in a direction like Step Up, I'm On It from Maylene.
Yeah.
Where they're out in the woods having a good old time and somehow everybody gets murdered.
Now, you know that music video is based off of the movie Deliverance, right?
Right.
Okay.
So that's kind of, the same direction. I thought it was heading into Deliverance.
Oh, no, somebody's going to get murdered and somebody's going to have to squeal like a pig. Oh, no.
Here we go.
No.
But, or even like Maylene, also the cover from 2 has all 4 guys being drug into the woods.
Oh.
That's kind of where I thought this whole thing was heading. I was like, oh, here we go. But it's just a bunch of guys in the Canadian woods having a good old time.
I think I'm starting to lose hope on Maylene, man.
It does make me
We're
sad.
past a year.
It is now.
And just like...
We've got nothing else yet.
And I told you before, I said, because you've asked me several times, like, when's the Maylene episode coming? And I'm like... And I really kind of want to like... Because I feel like the moment that I start saying, okay, we're going to do it, they're going to put out a new album. It's like... Seriously, so I'm trying to wait to see if they would put out a new album. That way it's like, okay, I can line it up with that. Because I have my basic notes ready to go. Just I'm waiting for some news or whatever. And still nothing.
I mean, news one way or the other. That's all I really want.
What are we doing? It's like I told you before. It's
yes
like, just
or no.
Tell me that, hey, we're just doing this part-time and we're just going to do some shows and put out some songs here and there. Or are we really doing this thing for real?
As much as it upset me too, I was looking at monthly listener numbers for Maylene versus Cancer Bats.
Yeah.
Maylene's almost half of Cancer Bats.
More or less.
Less. Like I didn't.
It's just one of those bands that they just never really.
Well, and they haven't put anything out.
Yeah,
in
and that doesn't
decade.
help. Yeah, and that doesn't help.
So,
because think about it, Spotify probably really came out when they were
pretty much
nowhere.
already done. Yeah.
Yeah. So that doesn't help.
No, not even a little.
It's just really disappointing, man.
I agree.
But anyway,
but yes, this whole video
I get that vibe, yeah.
Just embraces every stereotype about Canadians that I know. It's just funny.
It's just great, man. The lumberjacks, like you said, the maple syrup and the pancakes, and the part where George from Alexis on Fire comes in, and Liam just sees him and he's just like, "Hey, you!" And he points at him, throws him a microphone. He gets going. One of my other favorite parts too, and Josh loves it, is especially, two things. One, the drummer drumming with the old pipe in his mouth, just chilling, just drumming. And there's several shots that they do throughout the music video where it's like they focus on one like member of the band and they just like slowly zoom in on him. It's like, oh, this is crazy, man. Just so much craziness going on in that. And it's all in all, it's a good song too, man.
It is.
So that's a little cherry on top there. So we were kind of we've kind of talked a little bit about, their popularity, quote unquote popularity, and such, and then we kind of talked a little bit about mailing too. But in your opinion, Eric, why is this band not more well known? They've been around since about 2004, 2005. They're still going. They just put out a new record last year. Why, in your opinion, do you think that they're not more well known? Do you think it's kind of a thing where it's just like, oh, they're Canadian and we're just American, and maybe they're more popular up there and we just don't really know about it because we're Americans and we're just owning our own little world because that's what Americans do? I don't know. What do you think?
I think it is a little Canadian versus U.S. thing
Okay.
as a part of it.
Okay.
Like, I know Unleash the Archers, I think a band I've talked about, female-led power metal. I've talked about them before.
Are they Canadian?
They are Canadian.
Okay, I was thinking they were.
They actually have done a cover of a song that's kind of like what for us in America would be like Lee Greenwood's "This Land Is Your Land."
Oh,
I mean, it's
nice.
their second national anthem.
Okay.
And it's the Northwest Passage is the name of the song.
Oh, okay.
And that is their #1 song on Spotify. And in no small part to they are from Canada.
Right.
And their Canadian listeners listen to that and they go, wow, this is awesome. It's like listening to, like old-timey Lee Greenwood is for us,
I feel a sense of Canadian pride.
If that's possible, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
But anyway, so it's a little bit of that. And then, two, the fact that it is kind of a southernish metal thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I love it, as much as you love it, and everybody else at the production company loves southern metal, it's a bit of a niche market.
Yeah, I would agree.
So I think that may be the other part of that.
Okay.
Because I was looking at those numbers between them and, Maylene, and kind of got to looking at a few others. I'm like, southern metal's kind of on a lower level overall as far as listening numbers.
Yeah.
So I know the listening numbers aren't everything, but it gives you an idea anyway.
Right. I think, too, it goes back to what we talked about, the local vibe, the hometown vibe that they kind of give off. I think that definitely kind of contributes to it, too. But so let's talk a little bit about albums. So there's some darker tones lyrically, and I think a little bit of musically, too, on their album Bears, Mares, Scraps, and Bones. Do you kind of get that sense as well?
In part, but, so there's a lyric in there that says they're always doomed to fail.
Right.
He, talks about his deathbed. Also talks about scared to death of dying alone. And a few other things. Those are just a few I picked.
Yeah.
And as a whole, I think it can be dark, but it's kind of on par with everything else to me. Like Psychotic Jailbreak, even, their latest album, has lyrics and themes in there, like The Hoof talks about his gravestones. I mean, all sorts of things like that. So
at least like getting up to that point, I feel like,
and maybe that's it, as I'm focusing more after
yeah,
that. But
well, and I probably should have been more specific, because it's kind of an open question, it feels like. But I mean, up to that point, you're talking about having Birth of the Giant, what's the Hail Destroyer, and is it Bears after that? I can't remember if it's Bears after that or Dead Set. I always get those two mixed up in the timeline. But just kind of like up into that point, it just doesn't feel like, it just didn't feel like we're kind of in that direction. And I feel like looking at the album artwork too on Bears, Mayor, Scraps, and Bones, it feels like it's kind of got more of a darker feel to it. I mean, heck, there's a skull lady on there. I never noticed that before. There's just kind of some darker looks to it too. I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. And I can't remember. I don't think it's this one. I think it's Dead Set that. Okay, so have you ever heard the band Fleet Foxes or Fleet Fox?
I think I've heard of them, but I don't know that I've heard their music.
So they're like, I mean, basically in a nutshell, it's a folk band. I was gonna see.
Is that why a spirit box turns into spirit fox for
Yes,
you?
yes.
That explains so much.
So okay, so here it says indie folk, chamber pop, folk rock, progressive folk. So I mean, basically they're in the folk genre. At one point, and like I said, I think it's Dead Set album. Not musically, but lyrically, Liam said in an interview that he took inspiration from Fleet Fox. Fleet Foxes. Sorry, it is Fleet Foxes. He took inspiration from Fleet Foxes for his lyrics on Dead Set. And I remember saying that to Josh, and we were both just like, what? And I mean, I get like what his motive was, because he said in that interview, and I'm paraphrasing here, but basically that like he doesn't, when he writes lyrics for an album, he doesn't want to be like, okay, I'm writing for metal, you know, where I just want to bring whatever influences I can into what I'm doing, regardless of what that is. And so I get that, but it was just like really weird, because me and Josh were both familiar with Fleet Foxes, and it's just, yeah, it was very off the wall, because it was just like, okay, just, I don't see that, but all right. But I don't know, to each his own. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about some covers. Are you a fan of covers?
As a whole, I will say I like covers.
Okay, so we've got two different covers that we're going to talk about here. One is a song. The other one is something else, and we'll talk about it here in just a second. But let's start with Cancer Bat's cover of Sabotage by Beastie Boys. Are you a fan, or are you kind of eh?
So I will say I like covers as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Not every cover is a grand slam out of the park home run.
Yeah.
This one's, somewhere in the ballpark, though.
Mm-hmm.
I do like this one.
Okay.
It's actually pretty good. I
Okay.
enjoyed it.
So what about, they took it a little bit, another step further. They came up with this idea of basically being a Black Sabbath cover band. And they actually went into the studio, recorded several Black Sabbath songs in their style. I think at first they released it as bonus tracks off of one of their full-length albums, and then decided to release it as an EP. And that EP was entitled Bat Sabbath EP. First off, the name, terrific. I will give them that one. It's a good name.
All points for that.
Yes, for sure. Give me your thoughts, because you like Black Sabbath, right?
I do like Black Sabbath.
Okay, so as a Black Sabbath fan, do you approve of this cover, or are you kind of on the fence about it, or are you just like, yeah, nah, I'm good?
Kind of on the fence, I guess.
Okay.
It was interesting, that's for sure.
Give me some thoughts on it.
It sounded almost like a recorded live stream.
Okay.
The one that I saw or heard, I guess. He had little intros and talking points between the songs themselves. Let's see. Some of them were okay. Others just kind of didn't hit for me as a whole. Like, I think it was it Children of the Grave they did there?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the original, there's this really kind of creepy part. I mean, talk about Children of the Grave. Children of the Grave. And there's that weird music going on in the background while he's just whispering that over and over. And they didn't quite do that part justice, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because, I mean, it's a creepy sound. It's a creepy song. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole vibe you're trying to give off.
Right.
But, I mean, I see that they're trying to make it their own, too. I get that. But
all I'm thinking of now is what I told you last week, remember, about the kids in their little monotone, like, I'm losing the words now, but when they were singing that song in their little class, and it was just like, oh, geez, I think this is a cult. I think these kids are in a cult, man, or they sound brainwashed or something, man. I don't know. It's very dry. It's, are they okay back there? What's happening? Anyway, go ahead.
So, yeah. Like you said earlier, since I am kind of a fan of most of these songs, if I would, these songs in particular that they did would have to be absolute grand slam home runs to really make me go, I gotta listen to that. This is so good. But, I mean, they were okay. They didn't do them disjustice.
Okay. So, I was trying to look up what the list was because I forgot what it was. What the songs were.
NIB, Nib.
Yeah, War Pigs, Iron Man. I mean, see, here's the thing about it. And I think Josh said something about, I think he specifically said Iron Man. He was kind of put off. It's like, everybody does. When you do a cover, of a song, it's like you always do like the big songs,
Mm-hmm.
And specifically like this, where it's like you're going to do a whole EP, it's like, it'd be kind of nice if you didn't do any of their big songs.
Right.
So I was kind of interested to see what you thought about that. It's like, are you okay with them doing like War Pigs and Iron Man, or do you feel like they should have done more of like the obscure Black Sabbath?
I mean,
songs?
you got 4, so you
Yeah.
got 4 if you wanted to do 4.
Right.
I mean, whatever you're in the album, whatever you're paid the man to record, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah.
But you got your chances. Record one big one that you say that you like,
Okay.
and then go in there and dig into their discography a little deeper and say, hey, this song, this is weird, I like it.
Yeah.
Like Sweet Leaf or
Right.
something just off the wall and odd.
Right.
Who knows Sweet Leaf from Black Sabbath?
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody.
Because that's the other thing too, is like then you could probably introduce somebody to more music that they had that they wouldn't have been able to find from that band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will say, from hearing this, I can kind of hear the Black Sabbath influence on them as a whole, and kind of even into his voice.
Yeah.
I was like, I can kind of hear this.
Oh, yeah.
This makes a little more sense.
He's got the voice for that, man.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready for trivia question number 2, Eric?
Ready as I'm getting.
All right, buddy. Here we go. What is the meaning behind the album title Bears, Mayors, Scraps, and Bones?
It was their nicknames.
Ooh, boy. I mean, no hesitation.
I couldn't tell you which one is which, but
No,
I do
that's
remember
fine.
that.
I couldn't right off the top of my head either, man.
I do remember that was the nicknames of the band members at the time.
That is correct. It is a combo of all 4 members' nicknames. And I wrote a quote here from me and Josh. Bears is to Mayors as Scraps is to Bones. Yeah. All right, Eric. You remember 2020? You remember this little thing called COVID?
What?
Does that sound familiar to you at all, man?
I mean, vaguely.
Somebody said that name to me, and I thought they were talking about some person. What? Parents are naming their kids weird names these days, man. No, yeah, 2020, COVID. We've talked about before. Me and Josh have talked about it because we've run into some instances on some of these bands. Their timeline runs through that period. It seemed like there were several things going on. You either had an album recorded and you decided we're not going to release it because we can't support it, we can't go out on tour, so we're just going to hold on to it. And you end up either releasing. A lot of times it felt like there was a lot of like re-recordings or remasterings, or hey, it's our 15-year anniversary of this one, so we're putting it on vinyl or whatever, a special edition, or whatever. Or in Cancer Bat's case, they decided to release 2 albums that was all acoustic renditions of songs from their discography up until this point. I don't know about you. I love this idea, and I love these albums. They're really, really good. There's a few songs, I think, on there that was kind of like, okay, yeah. But there was a couple that were like, job well done, boys. Job well done. So give me your thoughts, Eric, on the 2 acoustic rendition albums.
So I am a bit of a sucker for an acoustic.
I know you are. That's why I definitely put this one in here.
So there were a good chunk of these that weren't 100% hits for me. Mm-hmm. But I do really like the slightly renaming of all the songs, though.
Yes.
Or not,
yeah.
I don't guess every one of them, but most of them. Like,
little tweaks.
Hail the Acoustic Destroyer.
Mm-hmm. What was the
Lucifer Slightly Less
there
Rocking
you
Chair?
go. That's the one I was trying to think of. Yes, that's hilarious, man.
So just a couple of those. I love the way they rename stuff. These guys are genius when it comes to naming things and renaming stuff, for that matter. But those 2 I did kind of enjoy as far as that goes. The others, here nor there. They're not like, the worst thing I've ever heard in my life, that's for sure.
Death's March to a New Acoustic Beat. That's hilarious.
Yes.
Road 666, so stay home. That probably, goes with COVID at that point.
So stay home.
Get away from me. Black Metal Bicycle, My Blues Riffs Away. Nice. Darkness Light, Bed of Nails, Dreams of Tambourines. Yep. Lucifer, Slightly Less Rocking Chair. Nice. Bastards Waltz, recorded live from TV. That's funny. That was their volume 1. Just trying to get volume 2 up here real quick. Hail the Acoustic Destroyer. Bricks, mandolins, and more tambourine. More tambourine.
Is that like the new cowbell?
Yes, exactly. Pneumonia Acoustic Hawk. Nice, very nice. Racoustic. Well, it was like it was rats from
RATS.
yeah, with acoustic in the middle, and then Winterpeg Folk Fest. Oh my goodness, yeah. Due to the pandemic, we weren't able to get into the same room to work on new material, so we decided to reinvent some Cancer Bats classics into acoustic or more mellow versions of the songs. Yeah, that's a good one. That is good. Yeah, it
definitely feels very 2020.
Yes. Well, and they definitely. If I always picture when I listen to it, I always picture like them just like sitting on a front porch in their rocking chairs playing. I mean, just like it's got that southern feel to it too, man.
Yeah.
You know, they got the slide guitar and the acoustic guitar. Yeah, it's just good. And then his gravelly voice, man. He could probably just do an acoustic album. And it would probably sell really well, I think, just with his voice, the
Kinda
way
like
it is, man. Rough.
Dallas Green.
Yeah. Well, but just like rough though.
Right,
It's
but
like
I mean,
he
as
could-
far as Dallas Green does all this, heavier stuff, and then he's over here like,
yes, yeah.
you know what would be cool?
I need
Let's do an
to-
acoustic
I
album.
need to express my lighter side.
And
I have emotions and feelings and thoughts. Yeah. Okay, so that was 2020's acoustic renditions, volume 1 and 2. Let's talk about their brand new release, Psychic Jailbreak. Now, personally, I wasn't a big fan of it. I really need to go back through since it's been some time and listen to it again. There was a few songs on there that I liked, but as a whole, it was kind of like, nah, I don't know. And I think one of the things that it's kind of the album before this, I think it's The Spark That Moves, I believe. That one was good. But you could kind of feel some like transitions. And one of the things that I wonder if it has anything to do with it is the departure of their main guitarist. Well, their only guitarist, because there's only 4 of them in the band. Scott. I think Scott Middleton, I think is his name. I know it's Scott. But that, I feel like that kind of helped kind of pave a new way for them, because their bassist, who could play guitar too, ended up writing most of the guitar stuff on their previous 2 albums. So, getting a new guitarist in there, somebody with new ideas, maybe likes, his likes are different than what the old guy was. You start getting some new, sounds and everything like that. So I wonder if that kind of contributed to that. But your opinion, Eric, what is your thought? Because your opinion matters more than mine on this podcast. It's for you, not for me.
Woohoo.
I'm just here to facilitate and to keep us on track, which is, I'm not doing a good job of that. But anyway, go ahead. Give us your thoughts on their latest album, Psychic Jailbreak.
So I like it.
Okay.
I actually do like it. Listening through it again, here a second and third time, it's starting to hit for me pretty good.
What does it for you?
Song wise or sound wise?
Yes. Start with sound wise. Let's start with sound. Then you can kind of transition into the songs.
Well, man, it's a little bit of both. They kind of mix
Okay.
together.
Yeah, I was about to say, or maybe they just kind of mix together.
Because there's a couple songs that I'll mention here towards the end, far
Okay.
as like The Hoof, Crocodiles, several like that just listening through, I'm like, yeah, that's good. And they got some really, pretty good lyrics, and there's kind of witty little things that they say in the middle of their stuff, and it's just things like that I kind of enjoy. And sound wise, they didn't lose their energy. either.
I would agree with that, yeah.
There's a lot of bands, especially when they lose a member like that, they lose momentum, they lose energy, you know,
missing,
especially if there's a change in like a guitar or bass, things like that. You know, those are driving pieces of that band, especially when you're a 4-piece.
Right.
That's a big deal to lose the guitarist because you don't have a backup guitarist really to fall on.
Yep.
If you have a backup guitarist, it's less of an issue. You can just bring him up. But yeah, I still like him. I like this band, this album, I should say. This band's pretty good too, I guess. But they have
I like this album, but I hate this band.
They have that signature. They have that signature sound, and as a whole, running throughout everything. So I don't have to wonder, you know, is this that Cancer Bats people? I don't really know. So they have their signature sound still. So I don't feel like it's departed too terribly far.
Okay.
I just going from like Birthing the Giant all the way up.
Yes. Yeah.
Skipping from one to the end to the other. You know, listening to the albums back to back, you can definitely. They grow.
Right.
You know, bands grow up. They would change a little bit. You know, we talk about a lot of bands we grew up listening to. They go from our sad boy stages to our angry boy stages, and you know, got to grow up from there and go into. Now we're in our middle ages stages, and you know, whatever they're going through.
Now we've discovered a keyboard. D D D D.
Yeah.
Ooh, is that a monkey noise? Ooh, oh, we should put that on the album.
So you can definitely feel growth.
You know who I'm talking about, people. You know.
A bunch of them. But anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, yeah, they have their signature sound still, and I like it. So.
Okay. Cool, man. Cool.
It's not too far of a departure.
Okay.
I know it's a little different.
Yeah.
There's a little bit different there.
I don't
But
feel
it's not like, you know, taking, you know, a highway and you're going, well, there's a fork up ahead, and one says the same name, and the other one says Highway 42 or something.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I better go Highway 42. That's in a different direction.
Right.
This one's not doing that. They're staying on the same highway.
Yeah.
There's just a bend in the highway.
I don't feel like when I say what I said about, you know, the transition from losing the guitarist to the Spark That Moves to Jailbreak, I don't feel like it's a huge departure.
Right.
I'm with you. I feel like it's a little bit, I mean, you can tell there's a little bit of a bend that they're crossing over now, and I can just tell that there's a little bit of difference there, and yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I need to go back and listen to it again because it's been some time. I've given it some time to kind of lay there and
let it really marinate.
Marinate in the sun. Ooh, it's getting stinky.
Like that stanky metal, do you?
Oof, man. Yeah. All right, cool. So as always, finishing out an episode, Eric. Give me your favorites here: albums, songs, lyrics, riffs. I threw this in on the last one. I think I'm going to start throwing this in from now on. If you have any favorite, I'm sorry, I should have told you before we started. If you have any favorite artwork on their albums, let me hear it. They kind of seem to kind of go with a generic look where it's just like a picture and the same, like the stamp of their name in the same like format almost. Well, not all the time, but I mean, they have their name on there. It seems like they have their name and then like the name of the title of the album right below it every time with just like a different background. But yeah, if you have one. He's searching.
Searching for signal.
He's searching for signal. Not searching for zero, but searching for signal. What were you usually looking at? Were you just looking at...
I was just trying to see if I could look them up.
Yeah, I could probably get it for you here. Seriously, that's only like... Okay. Well, that did not help. Trying to look up these albums here. Why don't you go ahead and give me your the other stuff, album, songs, lyrics, riffs, while we're waiting on some signal here.
I think. Well, I was just looking at them. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the one that I always thought was pretty cool was "Searching for Zero." Kind of the like.
Okay.
Eyeball looking.
It's interesting.
Illuminati thing going on or something.
Yeah.
I don't really know. With your death scythe looking people, you know.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting looking. I always kind of liked the colors on the Spark That Moves, of a colorful thing. And then I always did like Bears, Mares, Scraps, and Bones, that kind of those 4 pieces.
I do like that one too. That's a cool split up the way they did that.
Oh, what did I just see? The 10th anniversary edition. Look at this one. That's pretty cool looking.
That is pretty
A
cool.
little
I do
more
like
defined,
that.
where you can actually see what the pictures were in the background. But yeah. Huh. It's interesting. I'll have to look at that a little more.
Deeper looking into that.
Yeah. So what do you think album-wise, songs, lyrics? And like I said, always,
That's-
if you got any riffs, I'm here for it.
We'll look at the riffs later. But anyway, lyrics going to the hoof from Psychotic Jailbreak there. My life was saved by a skateboard. Now let's say it 100 more times, boys.
It's a savior!
My life was saved by a skateboard. You know, as a elder skater kid, you know, I love that. It's just fantastic. Just yelling, "My life was saved by a skateboard" at the end of it. Just
Yes,
so much.
I can relate.
Yes, that's me. I'm in this song.
He's like, I can relate. He's talking about me.
So another one from Psychotic Jailbreak, crocodiles. Bark, no bite. You're a crocodile with no teeth.
So simple, yet so strong.
It's kind of poignant. I like
it. I like that.
So this one is from The Spark That Moves, We Run Free.
Okay.
Test my luck, break my neck, whiskey throttle, rescue me.
We run wild, we run free. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a
too,
fun
man.
little...
That's a good little anthem.
I think you
song.
described it, here a couple episodes ago, as it's got a bounce to it.
Yes, it's got a nice bounce to it, man.
That little riff, it's got a bounce to it right there. So, favorite album, this was actually a really hard pick for me. Like, I was back and forth on a few. I settled on Hail Destroyer.
Okay. It's a good one.
Because that's the one I go to and I pick and I
Yes.
listen to from start to end most often, it
That's
seems.
how I feel. Yeah.
So, but special mentions for songs, we'll go with Crocodiles, Can't Sleep, and We Run Free.
Ooh, Can't Sleep's a good one, man. Can't
All
Sleep is
very
a
good songs.
one, man. That one just like, to me, it just like punches you in the face, man. Anyway,
Got that stank on.
got that stank on. Put some extra stank. Let it sit in the sun. Get some extra stank. Some UV ray stank. Yeah.
Boy.
Cool. All right. So you ready for your top
So,
three?
top three.
Okay. Number 3.
Coming in from Psychotic Jailbreak is The Hoof.
Okay. Okay.
It's kind
What kind of hoof is that? Is it a horse hoof or?
Boy, back in the day, we were hoofing it. Everywhere we went, we was hoofing it.
Okay. Is that like hollering?
I think that's like hollering.
If you know, you know. Number 2.
Coming in from Hail Destroyer, Harem of Scorpions.
Okay. Is that the one that has whatchamacallit from Tim McWhatever from Rise Against?
I think so.
That's what I was thinking. If that's
I'm trying to remember now.
If that's the one that's like the number, it's second or third song. Yeah, it is. Okay, yeah.
I was
That's the one
thinking
that
it
has
was, but-
Tim on it. Yeah, from Rise Against. Yeah.
I would like that.
You would. Being a Rise Against fan, he
Yeah,
would. No, but that's a good one, too. That's a good one.
And then number 1,
Number 1.
coming in from Hail Destroyer is Hail Destroyer.
Hail Destroyer. That's a good intro, man.
That is a fantastic intro. And that riff.
Destroyer.
Ooh. Just that. I think we talked a little bit about at the beginning of the episode. Just that driving riff, you know.
That chugging.
It's chugging a lugging and it's coming along. It says, "Get up on this metal train, boy."
Get up on my horse. Let's hoof it. Chugga, 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 chugga. Oh,
So,
man.
I do feel like there's a thought I had while I was listening through and looking at, was it a Pneumonia Hawk?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they missed an opportunity with
Really?
naming
Okay.
their stuff.
Let's hear it.
So,
Like songs or albums or
a little bit of both,
Okay.
but songs mostly.
Okay.
So the name of their band is Cancer Bats. The name of one of their songs from their first album is Pneumonia Hawk.
Right.
Something sickness and then something bird related, something flying.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have animals in almost every album after that.
True.
I think
it's a conspiracy.
Searching for Zero, I think, doesn't. There's one, I can't remember if it's Searching for Zero or Colors, whatever that's called.
Spark the Moves.
Spark, yeah. The one with colors on it, yes.
I feel like me and Josh did talk about this actually.
So I just feel like they kind of missed that opportunity. They do have animals in every other one,
Yeah.
just not like cancer, bats, pneumonia, hawk. You could have
Rats.
typhoid rats. You could have what's the crocodiles? Amputee crocodiles.
Black plague crocodile.
Whatever it is though.
COVID bunny.
COVID crocodile.
COVID crocodile. COVID crocodile. COVID crocodile. Boy, say that 10 times fast. Good night, man.
But I feel like they kind of missed that. Like, you could have done it, boys.
What? This is not in the notes. Just out of the top of my head here. What is up with the name Cancer Bats? I always try to figure how do you come up with? Did you just come up with two things and just be like put them together and they say, hey, that sounds pretty cool, man. Bats with cancer, look out! Don't let them bite you.
Maybe they knew about COVID before COVID.
They may have, man. They may have.
But I always kind of wondered if it didn't come from. There was I don't remember if it was local or if they just came through just about every year. But there was like a thing that used to be Cancer Sucks, and it would raise money for cancer research and stuff like that. I always wondered if it came from that idea.
Maybe. Cancer sucks. What sucks?
A bat.
A bat. Like a baseball bat? No, like an animal. Cancer bat. Cancer bats. What's more scarier than one bat? 1,000 bats.
Exactly.
Cool,
so,
man.
That's one thing I wondered about is like if it didn't come from, back in the day when they're trying to raise money with, bands like these.
We'd like to know what the origin was from the members themselves, but maybe
someday.
Maybe someday. Maybe someday. Oh, great conch. Oh, great magic conch. Will we ever find out the reasoning behind the name, the cancer bats? Maybe someday. All right, sweet.
So what you're saying is there's hope.
So what you're saying is there's a chance. All right, final thoughts, Eric, on the band Cancer Bats.
I wrote in my original notes, to quote Josh, I like them.
I like them. I like them a lot. It makes me think of when I used to be like, what'd you think about this album? I like it.
Yep.
All right, moving on. No. And you say, I'm going to expand on my thought. It's like, well, then get at it, bro. Don't leave the pause. What are you doing?
Pause for effect.
Pause for effect, I guess, man. He's just trying to leave everybody on the edge of their seats. Putting butts on the edge of their seats, man. Cool. All right, let's put a nice little bow on this episode, shall we? Make sure to follow us on Twitter at @IsSurvivedByPro for news and the latest episode postings. Not just on this show, people, but our other shows as well. Let me tell you about them. You got the parent, the father, the OG of this very podcast right here, the history of the Chorus podcast with me, myself, and I, and somebody else named Josh. But that's not really important. It's me you're coming to see or listen to, either way. There's also the Red Right Hand podcast, which has covered all 6 seasons and then some of the Peaky Blinders from the BBC and Netflix. There's also the Throne of the Dragon podcast, which so far has covered season 1, soon to be season 2 of HBO's House of the Dragon, and currently we are in our Targaryen family history series, so be sure to be on the lookout for that and plenty of other episodes as well with season 2 on the horizon. Also, while you're on Twitter, make sure to follow my co-host at Joshua Lynn Gary. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review and write us a comment on whatever podcast service you're using. And if you want to listen to us and see our smiling faces, head on over to our YouTube page. Just search Is Survived By Productions, and that'll have every episode from all of our shows. Subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up the video, people. Give it a big old fat thumb, man. In the upward position. Not downward, please, in the upward. All right, man. Until the next episode where we are... don't worry, we're not going anywhere. We're chilling. We're chilling here in America. Or not in America. We're chilling here in Canada. Yeah, and we're going to be chilling here for the next few episodes. And in the next one, we're going to talk a little band known as Alexis on Fire. Until then, we'll see you.